what would you say the three most, if you had to give docs a tip for the three biggest things to watch out, the three biggest mistakes people make at a community event, what would they be?
Well, I think number one is waiting for new patients to come to you. That's probably the biggest mistake.
Very nice. Now, what I love that you said there was, I always believe that marketing is the fuel for your business in any way, shape, or form. And when you went out into the world, into your first practice, you had the solid foundations of having experience, having been in charge of style screenings for the practice you worked in. Yeah. So, we call that in our world, across our 8 sites, we call that our low-hanging fruit to our bankers. I think community events are so important. So tell us, what would you say, because that's also built our practices, and sounds like you're on the same wavelength as me. What would you say the three most, if you had to give docs a tip for the three biggest things to watch out, the three biggest mistakes people make at a community event, what would they be?
Well, I think number one is waiting for new patients to come to you. That's probably the biggest mistake. I think this was actually something that I was fortunate to have. Was when I did start my practice, we had zero signage. Like, we were on the 4th floor of a high-rise building. So nobody, and not only did we have no signage, but if you looked down in the lobby and it said, room number, it was the other doctor's name on there. So when my new patients came in, they couldn't even find me on the directory in the building, right? And so I realized very quickly that if I didn't go out into the community, if I didn't have an event that weekend, I didn't have a new patient that week. And so I tried to schedule something every single weekend to make sure that I had new patients coming in.
Wow.
So you can't wait for them, even if you have signage by a road, you can't wait for those new patients to come in the door. You got to go out there and get them.
Got it.
Secondly, I think maybe one of the things that's the biggest mistake is you wait until you think you're ready to get out there, right? So you're trying to learn how to do a spinal screening, and you want to try to memorize all your scripts before you get out there and all these things, and you'll never learn more than actually just going and doing it. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes people make. Just get out there, talk to people about chiropractic. You'll get better and better as you go. Let's see if I can think of a third one. Thinking that you have to spend money to get new patients. There's nothing wrong with doing print ads or advertising or radio or TV, all those things. But starting out especially, I don't think you need to invest thousands of dollars in that kind of marketing. I think, to me anyway, better marketing that brings in better pre-qualified patients is when I can get out there and talk to them.
Nice. So, we have a little saying in my group my inner circle group is that the secret to success is to show up. And it sounds like in your first year specifically, you showed up in buckets and spades. You were out there all the time. If you had to recommend a schedule, like the bare minimum schedule for community events, screening type events, what would you recommend people should be at least doing a month or a year, or whatever you recommend? What was your minimum criteria?
I think when you start out, you've got to try to schedule something every weekend. You probably won't. You might get 2 weekends a month actually, scheduled. But I think you got to try to get out there at every event you can when you first start. Now we don't do as many screenings, but we still do as many. Like, if there's a big event, we're still there. We try to do a lot of lunch and learns. I find out that fits my schedule pretty well. So we try to do at least 2 lunch and learns a month. And then we do 1 dinner workshop every month. And so if we can have 3 or 4 events a month, we're going to keep the new patients up around 50 a month, 50 to 60 new patients a month. And that's going to help you continue to grow. If your new patients are down around 10 a month, you're going to be hurt.